Moving on now, Russia has reportedly detained an American journalist from the Wall Street Journal. Russian authorities accusing him of espionage. For more on this, the author of The Coming Collapse of China and the Great U.S. Tech War, Gordon Chang, and retired U.S. Air Force Brigadier General, Newsmax contributor, General Blaine Holt, back with us this morning. Great to see you both. General, I want to ask you quickly about this helicopter crash near Fort Campbell in Kentucky. Two Black Hawk helicopters from the Army's 101st Airborne Division going down apparently during routine drills. There were casualties, the number unknown right now. Your reaction to that and what might have happened?
Yeah, well, it's great to be here with both of you. It's just very sad. You know, flying is inherently dangerous, and military flying, the very high-end, demanding military flying that we do, is even more so. And training does have accidents associated with it. This is one. My heart goes out, my prayers go out to the families. But the folks on those birds were doing just exactly what they signed up for, and it's horrible. They'll unpack it, they'll investigate it, but it's just a sad moment for that
that's
unit.
the word, sad. We're keeping a close eye on that as we get more information. We'll keep everybody at home informed. Gordon, good to see you. Air Force Secretary Frank Kendall says that China's ongoing expansion of their nuclear force is the most disturbing thing he's seen in his 50-year career. What do you make of those remarks?
I think the remarks are right. You know, China was content to have a second strike capability, maybe 2, maybe 400 warheads. Now they're going for first strike. And that was what that spy balloon was doing. Remember, it flew over all 3 Minuteman III bases. It flew over Offutt, which is the home of Strategic Command, flew over Whiteman, where we base all our B-2s. I think China is going to threaten to use nukes to make the U.S. stand down should China go after Taiwan, Japan, the Philippines, whatever. We are seeing the era of nuclear threats. Putin makes them. Kim Jong-un is now making first strike threats. This has no good end. No good end at all.
They've doubled their military spending in the last year as well, Gordon. General, back to this Wall Street Journal reporter that was detained in Russia. What are you hearing?
Well, we're going to learn a lot more. They're going to accuse him of spying. They're going to accuse him of everything. But what are we doing? They've got, Brittany Griner came home. They're picking up another one. They understand the weakness inherent in how the State Department deals with these things. And they're definitely not interested in giving up Paul Whelan. So we've given up Victor Boot, and they just keep taking folks. And now journalists who are supposed to be able to independently cover the news and are supposedly welcome still in Russia.
General, just a quick follow. Do you expect the State Department to issue an advisory and encourage American journalists to stay put?
I think they've issued several, but I think you'll see a doubling down of that information. What I'd like to see is a very high-profile interest in the case, and the two diplomatic organizations get together to talk about this and the rest of the war, because we're getting to a very dangerous place, and we need to widen the dialogue.
Very good point. Gordon, so this was fascinating to me. The Hill reporting that Ukrainian President Zelensky has formally invited the president of China to visit Ukraine, this coming just a week plus after the president of China was in Moscow visiting with Vladimir Putin for 3 days. Your reaction to that?
Well, China's becoming a broker, and it's because of the absence of the Biden administration. Now, I don't think anything will come of China going to Ukraine if that, in fact, ever happens. But the point is right now that China is trying to show the world that it is in charge. And those were the remarks of Xi Jinping when he left Putin a week ago. He said, change is occurring that has not happened in the last 100 years. And he said to Putin, you and I together are going to drive that change. So as long as Biden stays in the shadows, this is going to continue to occur.
Gordon, do you expect the president of Taiwan to meet with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy while she is in the United States visiting?
Yes, I do. Next week when she goes to L.A. The problem here, though, is that McCarthy was supposed to see her in Taipei. He backed down over the threats. I think the Biden administration persuaded him not to see her in Taiwan. And so China is now making even more threats. And at some point, China is going to actually make good on those threats. Again, there are no good outcomes here.
Yeah, this coming just months after Nancy Pelosi flew all the way to Taiwan to make a formal visit, one of her last major moves as Speaker of the House. General, take a listen to Congressman Matt Gaetz of Florida questioning Mark Milley on Capitol Hill a day ago about military recruiting.
how much taxpayer money should go to fund drag queen story hours on military bases? You were going to fund one at Ramstein Air Force Base. That one got canceled, but that's DOD insignia. That's a drag queen story hour for children. Then also at Malmstrom Air Force Base outside of Great Falls, Montana, you had a drag queen story hour for kids. At the Joint Base Langley Eustis, you put on a drag queen story hour on a Saturday.
Can I get copies of those? Because I'd like to take a look at those myself, actually. Take a look and find out what actually is going on there. Because that's the first I'm hearing about that kind of stuff. I don't read those news stories. I don't know what you're talking about. I'd like to take a look at those because I don't agree with those.
Yeah, Matt Gates went on to say this might be affecting military recruiting. General, so Malmstrom Air Force Base, that was one of the bases that the Chinese spy balloon flew over. What do you make of just the fact that the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff has no idea what's going on?
Yeah, it's not a great response. I'll tell you that Congressman Gates is speaking for the American people when he says these things. Americans are concerned about the readiness of their military, bar none. That's the end of it. The DEI stuff is weakening readiness. You see it in retention and recruiting. And the Chinese are getting ready to go to war with us. You saw the big announcement with Brazil wanting to only trade in yuan, not
right.
U.S. dollars. They are prepping for war. We are prepping for pronouns, and it's got to stop.
Good point. Well put. General Holt, Gordon Chang, great to see you. Thank you. All right.
Thanks, guys.